Hello, Daily Football Report 39, University of Washington Huskies interview. How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, man. I'm excited for our first interview here on the pod.
Been a long time coming, man. Do you think our guests are in here, man? Do you want to give a little shout out to what we got in the works for today's episode?
Yeah, so in terms of what we're doing today, we have set up and we have an interview for you guys with two aspiring Huskies players that are committed and going to be going to the University of Washington to play football here this upcoming season, and we're very excited to have them. Goggin, you want to introduce them in?
Of course. We've got Ferndale's finest, right? So it's our old hometown, our high school. We'll have Landen Hatchett joining us and Jake Mason joining us today. So, yeah, as soon as they both get in here, I believe that Landen's in here. Landen, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for coming, and please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Sweet. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. Excited to do this. Like you said, my name's Landen. Played high school football at Ferndale, and we'll start playing for the University of Washington, the Huskies, this March. Early enrolling, so I'm gonna get rolling for spring ball, and I'll be there hopefully. On the game field this upcoming fall.
That's fantastic, man. We are excited to have you, and it's incredible, man. Ferndale's a great school for football, and glad to see we've got so many great, representatives out here going to University of Washington.
All right, and let's see. Jake's coming in. Jake, go ahead and introduce yourself to the podcast.
Hey, what's going on? My name's Jake.
Hey, Jake, and just let the audience know what position you play, where you're going to school, and yeah.
Yes, sir. I'm an edge, defensive end, boundary side. Going to be attending the University of Washington for these next 3 to 4, maybe 5 years.
Let's go. All right, guys. Well, congratulations again. Before we jump into our questions, I just want to give a quick shout out to one of my all-time favorite teachers, Mr. Morvek. Look, I've seen him go from substitute teacher to one of the best teachers in the state. So good for him. And honestly, back in the day when I was a youngin', he was the best dressed guy in Whatcom County. So I just got to give him a little love there.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Morvek, for getting this set up for us. We really appreciate it. I think would be a good time to dive into some questions for you guys. So I guess I'll start it off here, and if whoever wants to speak first can speak first. But my first question for you guys is, like, growing up, who were your favorite players, and do you feel like you modeled your game after them, whether they played your position or not?
I have a pretty clear answer to this one, so I can go first. But just when I was real young, growing up, I never really had any favorite players. I always just kind of looked up to my brother and my dad. But kind of as I was going into high school, I started paying a lot of attention to Jason Kelsey. Just with me being the center and the stuff he's able to do. With the polling moving to the second level, I tried my best to, study his film and base a lot of my game off of that. And I think I've done a good job, especially being in the wing tee at Ferndale, being able to pull from center. So, being able to look up to him has been a huge help.
For me, mine's kind of almost the same as Landon's. I didn't really have any favorite players growing up. But then my junior year, me and Lando flew out to Michigan to watch UW Michigan play, and ever since then, I've always been a fan of Aiden Hutchinson. We got to watch him, unfortunately tear apart the line for the Huskies, but he's been fun to watch. I like to model my game after him.
Wow, fantastic answers. Thank you, guys. All right, my first question. What age did you fall in love with the sport? What was it about football? And do you have a specific memory?
Growing up, I always thought I was a huge baseball guy. So that was my favorite sport forever. I really enjoyed football, but it wasn't my number one thing. I started playing real tackle football in 4th grade, so I don't know, whatever age that is. But my real love for football started my freshman year. it was my first time. Felt like playing real like big boy football. I was on varsity as a freshman, so that was an awesome experience. And you said memory, which kind of also goes right into this. I got to play right next to my brother. So I mean, for high school football, that was probably my biggest memory and one of the reasons I really fell in love with football. And from there, the recruiting process took off, and I found out I could take this a lot further than I initially thought. So continue to pursue it and still love it.
Could you repeat the question for me real quick?
Yeah, no problem. It was a 3-parter. I tend to do this. All right. It is, what age did you fall in love with the sport? What was it about football? And is there a specific memory?
Okay. I also was pursuing baseball super hard. That was my main sport up until probably my sophomore or junior year. I started playing football in 5th grade, a year after Landen started. We played together ever since then. But I really fell in love with the game probably my sophomore year and into my junior year, because that's when I started getting noticed a little bit. So recruiting kind of started for me around then. My favorite part about football is definitely got to be the grind leading into the season and the brotherhood for sure. And a favorite memory, we had a couple games against Arlington. Those were probably my favorite games. One, because we both in both those games we battled back crazy. We were down by quite a few in the second half of those games, and we were able to overcome adversity and eventually win those games. So those are probably my favorite memories.
Awesome, guys. For my next question, I kind of want to know, when growing up playing football, you usually play different positions. Where you guys are now and with the positions that you guys have, my question is, growing up, what positions did you play? And what was your favorite position to play?
Jake, I'm going to let you answer this because you have a lot more interesting answer than I do.
Growing up, I played offensive line and defensive line. So I started at right tackle, Landon was playing right guard. And then also defensive end. But I also, my 7th and 8th grade year, I got to spend a little bit of time at fullback, and those were the days that were awesome, getting to run guys over. But I don't see that anymore. So, so those were the positions I played.
Yeah, like Jake said, I was line through and through. I played right guard and defensive tackle growing up, and even through high school, I moved over to center my freshman year. And played D tackle my freshman, sophomore, and junior year, and then switched to DN my senior year. But I did have one run. I have one run in my career, and it was my 7th grade year, because it was we had a weight limit, but the scale was off by like a good 20 pounds. So I made weight, and I got to run the ball once, and I scampered for like a good 40 yards. It was a good time.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, thank you guys. All right, my next question. What drives you? Is it family? Is it self-fulfillment? Is it the team or is it the coaches? All right. Like, what is one thing that you can dial in if you had to pick one?
For me, it's just picking one. That would be hard, but I mean, it really comes down to a multitude of things. I don't think you can, do something just because of one thing. A lot of it has just been in Ferndale. We grow up around sports and playing sports, and you get into it early, and you get. All your friends are guys you've played with, and you start playing for something more than just yourself. And it's the guys around you that you play for. So I think, like Jake said earlier, one of the best parts about football is being around the guys and grinding, not even in the season, but going into the season, getting ready for that. So I think kind of what drives me in football is, just the companionship and the brotherhood that you have.
My answer is going to be very similar to Landon's also. For me, I'd say it's the brotherhood and getting to play with those guys you've grown up with throughout your whole career. And then, so that's my answer.
Fantastic answers, guys. For my next question, I'm kind of just curious a little bit more on, I guess the family side of things. You guys are obviously extremely talented athletes, and I guess my question is, when did you guys realize that like college football was a realistic option that you wanted to pursue? I know you guys touched on baseball being your thing that we were working hard at early, but I'm just curious when it kind of clicked for you, and you guys were like, you know what, I'm going to really pursue the college football aspect.
Mine was for sure my freshman season. Like I said, I got to play varsity right next to my brother. And playing varsity as a freshman, it kind of opened my eyes a little bit. I was like, hey, I'm all right at this sport, and I think I could move on to the next level. And my goal initially was definitely not a Power 5 Division I school. I mean, I talked with my family all the time. It was like, hey, if I could play ball anywhere at the next level, that would be awesome. But and then kind of after my sophomore year, after the sophomore spring season that we had because of COVID, I played in the FSP Spring League game, and I got my first offer after that. And I was like, when I really opened my eyes, I was like, yeah, I could really go somewhere with this. So I mean, it really wasn't until high school that I realized I wanted to go and play at the next level.
My answer is kind of similar too, but more. I'd say mine would be more towards the end of my sophomore year. I remember my first, recruiting text that I got, and I was sitting in the high school parking lot, and I was like, dang, this could actually become a reality. So Nevada football was the first team to hit me up, and that's the one thing I really remember the most is getting that the first recruiting text, and that's when it really all started for me.
Wow, guys, that's fantastic. That's so cool to kind of hear because it seems like different times for both of you guys in a sense, but just incredible achievements that you guys have had and are able to do. Gagan, did you want to go to your next question, sir?
Yes, let's go. All right. Do either of you? This is kind of open-ended, and hopefully you guys can explain this to us. Do either of you understand the transfer portal or the NIL deals? If so, can you explain it to simple, as simple as you can?
You're free to go wherever you want to go, whenever. It's what it seems like nowadays. So I'm probably just about as lost as you guys on the transfer portal. And NIL is still the Wild West. So I don't think there really is much simplifying to what it is now. I'm sure there will be some rules and guidelines put in place soon, but right now it's the Wild Wild West.
He explained it perfectly. I've got nothing on that topic.
Yeah, that's kind of one of those that is out there. We're trying to research it a little bit, and we're like, man, this is very complicated. So makes a ton of sense.
Look, I've spent hours and hours trying to figure it out, and the only person who understands this is Coach Deion Sanders out in Colorado, it seems.
Well, look, guys, I'll go ahead and get you on the next question here. Do you guys have a favorite game that you've played in your career so far? And for you guys, what made it memorable, whether it was a win or like you touched on earlier there, Landen, talking about coming back against Arlington. If there's a game that just resonates with you guys that was really special, feel free to speak on it.
What Jake said earlier, I kind of have to hop on that a little bit. It's two Arlington games. Our junior and senior year were very similar. I think I would say our senior one, this last season against Arlington was kind of my big game that I remember that sticks out in my head because we were, 1-1, just came off a tough loss to Landen, which none of us felt like we should have. We were 1-2. And lost to Glacier Peak as well. So it was and we were moving into real league play, and it was a huge game, and we were down in the second half in the fourth quarter. And that was one of the times that nobody really gave up and kept grinding and kept fighting. And I think that was one of our best team wins that we've ever had. It was just a fun time playing football with the guys, and that one stuck out and kind of propelled us onto the rest of our season. So.
I agree with Landon's answer. But mine's also probably either our first game, our junior year when we played Monroe at home, and we kind of took it to in that game, and that was my first I guess, real kind of varsity game, because we played like 6 games our sophomore year, and they were all against county teams, so we played like some real league teams my junior year, and that was kind of my first look at like a real varsity season. So that was probably one of my memorable games. And then also, I'd have to go with the Arlington game this year, because Landon said it was one of our best team wins. All of our guys didn't give up. We stuck it out the whole game, and I had 4 sacks that game and broke the county sack record. So that's probably most memorable game.
Perfect. That's fantastic. This is a good one. What are you guys looking forward to the most about playing for the Washington Huskies?
I've been around the program forever now, it seems like. Just growing up here, you're kind of automatically fans, and my brother's been there. I've known the coaches there for 7 years, so I'm really just excited to finally get into that locker room and be part of something great. The coaches now, just this last year, have really turned the program around. So I'm excited to get in with the guys, especially I'm going to be back with my brother, playing with my brother. That's one of the biggest things I'm excited about. It's just a new chapter of your life, which is always exciting but nervous. So I'm kind of ready to just get rolling and get into it.
For me, I'm ready to get down there and start grinding with a chip on my shoulder. I'm not on scholarship, so pursuing a scholarship is huge for me. And also the chance to be developed. UW has 2 guys that were all Pac-12 first team edges, so getting to be able to learn from those guys and have those guys in front of me for one more year, for sure, excites me the most.
Wow, great answers, guys. My final question is going to be something that's, I guess every athlete, student athlete kind of goes through this, but when you're on a level of deciding to choose to go to college and pursue your athletics as well as your education, it's kind of an interesting question here. So how do you manage the, school and sports lifestyle, the balance? How are you able to study the playbook while also studying the academics and keeping that happy, healthy balance in there?
A lot of the time, I think football kind of works as escape from that stuff. Not academics, but just kind of the outside world. And like I said, I've always grown up with football. So, since a young age, I've learned to balance the whole sports and school thing. It's just kind of been a thing our family does. So it really was never an issue. As the recruiting process sped up and you go and take visits and miss school, that's where it gets a little more tough. But luckily, we have great teachers and great people around us that support us. So I was able to, keep up with school and sports.
I agree with Landon on that. Except for I didn't go on as many recruiting visits as he did. So I kind of had more time to be able to get my homework done and stuff like that. But as far as homework load goes in high school, we never really were piled on with homework. And when it came down to finals week, that was a week where we were really studying hard, and the teachers are awesome at the school. And we've had the same playbook forever now. So keeping on top of that wasn't really that tricky, because, our team sessions, we run every play each week multiple times, so staying on top of that's not too difficult.
Perfect. Very well said, guys. All right, what number do you wear, and why do you wear it?
I wear 66. My grandpa wore it, my dad wore it, my brother wore it. The whole family's worn it. So I decided to keep the tradition going, and I'll be 66 at UW as well.
I wear 65 because, not really anything specific, but one of our edges in high school, he left in my sophomore year, and I like the number 65, so I chose it, and it's stuck for a while. But next year, my number will be different. Obviously, that's an offensive lineman number. I'll be playing edge, so I don't know what my number is going to be next year.
Jake, I could have sworn you picked 65 because that's the retirement age here in the U.S.
I gotta say, man, thank you guys so much for coming on and answering at least my portion of the questions. Goggin, did you have any other questions that you wanted to ask Landon?
Of course, we got the bonus lightning round, guys. If you guys got a few minutes, appreciate it. For me, do you have your week 1 game day ritual or routine ready? If so, can you share what it is?
Not for college. I haven't figured that out yet because I don't know what my day-to-day is going to be looking like. But for high school, it was always, usually if we were playing on Friday, it was always just school in the morning. School always felt normal. I came back, I made sure to take a nap. I'm a huge nap guy, and my mom always got Subway for me. So Subway, eat fresh if you're listening. NIL.
Mine's pretty similar to Landon's. If we played on a Friday, I would either go home and take a nap. That would usually be part of it, and then I'd usually shower before getting ready to go. And then I always ate something. It wasn't really specific every time, but I always made sure to eat. Nothing too heavy, but yeah. And then as far as like before games and stuff like that, we'd always go out pregame. I'd do some long snaps and stuff like that, and then we listen to music in the locker room, and then have a pregame talk with our O-line coach and D-line coach, specifically in the showers.
Just to clear that up, Donnie got mad at us last time for saying showers. That sounds a little odd. It's the only space that we were able to go.
Hey, all good, all good. Yeah, so I got another one. What advice would you give to a young athlete or a parent today on what is the actual process? Like, what's the blueprint? If you could outline a summer day in the off season from sunup to sundown, how does one land a scholarship or, get to play D1 football?
Yeah, I mean, like I've told so many people this. It's just stay in the weight room, keep grinding, and one of the huge things for me was just trying not to focus on what other people are doing or comparing myself to other people, because that's how you put yourself in a hole. You have to compete against the guy in the mirror at all times. Continue just to try to better yourself, and like you said, just one day in the summer. What I always did is, wake up, immediately go to the gym. I've always been an early gym guy, so just kind of get that in. We've always had summer lifts with the team. Come back, get recovery in, and depending on what day it was, I'd have training later that day, or just kind of, hang out with friends, have a good time. But another thing I'd say is just really, you just don't need to stress as much about it. Just put yourself out there. Do what you do, keep grinding, and it'll come.
Yeah, I 100% agree with Landon on that. But also one more thing on that is always set a routine too, so you're doing the same thing. So like my summer routine would be like wake up in the morning, lift, come home, eat something, and then I have the rest of my day to do whatever else I want. So those main things in the morning were specifically how I set my day each and every day.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I just think it's good to get it out there. I feel like people always forget how minute and, just detailed you have to be. If you guys can also explain how mental the high level of focus to detail is needed as a lineman. All right, I know fans always get upset about linemen jumping off sides or false starts, but if you can really paint the picture in the trenches.
Yeah, from the offensive line side, there is a million different things going on in your head from the time you break the huddle to the time the ball is snapped. Even as a wing T, we had line calls and different stuff we needed to notice about the defense and flow and where people would be going, where the ball is going, how you need to be positioned. A lot of that's just kind of nailed in through practice and stuff, but I mean, it still goes on in your head. And as the level gets higher, and I've been in the UW playbook now a little bit and just been studying that, and it is 1,000 times more complicated than the Ferndale playbook. I can promise you that. So there's, like I said, there's a million different things going on in your head. And, a lot of times people don't notice or don't know at all how much stuff the O-line is actually thinking of and worrying about. And it's not just, big man on big man moving bodies. It's a lot more than that. So.
So as far as what goes on mentally, I'd say it was 100% more difficult for Landon at center. He was kind of our rock this year. So he'd be calling all the line plays. He'd be calling the pass sets. So yeah, that was probably huge for him. And then on the defensive side of the ball, for me, it's kind of like a little bit mental and stuff like that. Like you kind of gotta read whether on an option play you get quarterback, right? So just keeping those things in your head, remembering to use your hands and getting after the quarterback probably are main things for me.
Perfect. All right, I got a bonus one as well. This is just because you guys are going to the University of Washington. Look, everyone has relatives who are Cougar fans. Will those relatives join Will they become Huskies fans, or will they still root against you and pledge their allegiance to Wazoo?
Can I go first?
Yeah, Jake, I was gonna say you need to go first.
My mom's actually in here right now. My mom actually happens to be an alumni from Washington State University. So I think that that's kind of ironic because I'm going to the University of Washington. But she definitely 100% supports me. I don't know if she's going to be wearing purple on Saturdays or not. I would hope she is. But so that's how close it is for me. And then, of course, my whole mom's side of the family went to Wazoo. And I just kind of grew up as a UW fan, and I'm here now. So
my family are UW people through and through. My grandpa on my dad's side is always a big Oklahoma fan, but they don't really have any rivalry or anything. So we've always been good with the Dogs. Not many Cougars around us, except for my aunt. But she's always loved UW and us as well. So
that's fantastic. I had to get that out there. That's really just some love for all of our Pacific Northwest listeners.
People don't really know outside of Washington, because we get listeners from all over in terms of how big the Apple Cup rivalry truly is. So we had to bring that up, poke a little fun. And Jake, that's fantastic about your mother. Hopefully maybe it's like a red undershirt or red sleeves, but still the purple jersey. We'll see what we can do.
Absolutely.
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, look, guys, any final words of advice or shout out to anyone? And if you guys can come back maybe during camp and give us an update.
For sure. I got nothing else, but I appreciate you guys for having me, and it was fun. Let us know whenever.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys for having us on. This is awesome. Thank you. I got nothing else.
All right, guys. No teacher shout outs here, huh? Only Mr. Morvek. All right.
Shout out Mr. Morvek.
Yeah, shout out Mr. Morvek.
All right. Well, Thor, I'm gonna let you take us home.
All right, guys. Well, hey, Landon and Jake, thank you guys so much.
I gotta interject. We are gonna post this on our YouTube as well. So that'll be Four Scene Sports. We'll send you guys the link. We appreciate it. This is going to be on Spotify as well. So, and any audio segments you guys need, please send it over. And we watched a lot of your guys' highlights and film, and we were just confused why we didn't have a voiceover, over those highlights. But it's okay, guys. So next time you need some clips, just let us know. We'll take care of it.
Hey, guys, thank you so much, Landon and Jake. Coming on here, giving us some fantastic answers, sharing a little bit about what it takes to get to where you guys are at, the grind that you guys are on. We appreciated having you, and definitely feel free to always come back. We'll definitely reach back out to you guys, but best of luck in your guys' upcoming endeavors. You guys are going to be amazing.
Thank you very much. Have a good one, guys.
Thank you. I appreciate it. See you guys later.